Okay, so this one is if you had to like legit graph it. So there's one like this on your quiz and your tests where you're getting some like random segments and you have to graph it given the transformation. So I'm gonna show you doing it like the quote unquote easy way where you're like counting it. But then I'll also show you how to do it like algebraically. Because you might need to do that way. Like on the warm up, we'll do one like that too, where you do kind of both ways. So backing up here, what I would do when it's like a goofball graph, you don't know the equation of, write like the ordered pairs for all of these guys. So like if you did X, Y for your graph, like I would do like write all of the ones that have like the point with it. You know what I mean? So -1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2 to get all your points. And then I'll show you how to like algebraically mess with them. So like if you want to do that transformation on it, okay, I'll do probably different colors with it. Okay, you still have your X and Y. Oh, actually, I'm going to change off of X. So like with your X, there is this +2 going on, but you're plugging this. This is always, it can be confusing with how these work out because with the +2 on the X, the way you do this algebraically, it's kind of like opposite of what you think. So like this X +2 part of the equation here, the way you get this first term algebraically, like we know that it's going to be left 2, but the way you come up with that is it's like you're solving these like little like equations basically. So like this, here I'll zoom in a little bit. So what you do is it's like you're solving this over and over again for each one. So the X +2 is equal to the original X. So the way you get the new number is solving that little equation. So here, let me just do another one. So this is, again, it's going to be X +2, just like the last time. But now I have to figure out what X will give me a -1. And I'm getting that from these numbers. Okay. So algebraically, this is how you would do this. Or you could also just obviously go left 2. But if, say it's like super complicated in there, you know what I mean? Like say it was like 3x +2 or something like goofy. You can solve it by doing like writing whatever in the parentheses here and set it equal to the X value that you started with. Okay, so this one would be -3, -2, 0, 1 if you solve them all. So that's like whatever's in this parenthesis. Here, maybe I'll like, that's what you're setting equal to that other X. I don't know if this is like now 2 overload colors, but that's where this came from. Okay, that's how you would solve it. So if you had a crazier one, you would just set it equal to the original X, okay? Anything that happens to the Y, so stuff outside the parentheses, so that one would be, come on. So if you had to do the negative on the f of x, or if there's anything outside of the f, essentially what you do is you just take the opposite of what you started with. So this y is obviously just 0. You can't really do anything. But instead of +1, it's going to be -1. If it was +1, it's going to be -1. If it's +3, it's going to be -3. And if it's +2, it's going to be -2. So I just am doing the negative on all the original y's to get it. And then what you do is you graph the picture. So I guess like I'm doing like a not as crazy one right now, just so it's not super confusing. But whatever is inside the parentheses set equal to the original y. And then outside of the parentheses, like happening to x, like if it's like +6 or something, or 2/3 or whatever out there, you're going to take your y and apply those to that number. Does that make sense? Okay. Because then now you can just graph it and you'll see that it's legit because if you graph all those points, I'm going to make it purple because it's cute then, you know? So -4, 0, -3, -1, -2, -1, 0, -3. Kind of ran out of graph there. That's okay. And then 1, -2. So you can see how it was reflected. It is legit. It's reflected and left 2. So, all right. Is there any questions where any numbers came from? Okay. So, next thing are piecewise. Piecewise there's probably one on every free response test I've ever seen. So you'll have 6 free response questions for AB. 2 are with calculator, 4 are without. Believe me, you'd rather have the without. Because you never know if you're doing it right or not. You'll know if you're doing it right because you'll get like crazy. Like if you get psycho numbers, you know you're doing it something wrong. Whereas on calculator, it's just kind of like, well, that's what it says on the screen, you know. So they love Piecewise, love them. They're usually on no calculator. I actually don't even know how to figure it out on the calculator because I just never use them on the calculator, okay? So to find formulas for the following functions, okay, it's essentially like the way you write it is you'll have like a y or an f of x or g of x. Maybe I'll just mix it up for all of them. I'll do y for this one. Keep it basic. Okay. And what it looks like is it has that big, like this guy in it. You know what I mean? That big curly bracket. There we go. Couldn't think of the name for a second. And essentially what you do is you like do the chunks of the graph in that bracket. So you work left to right. Okay. So for this first one, I mean, well, actually you could do 3 equations. I'm going to do 2 because we got a good old what happened to it? Absolute value graph here. Okay. So we've got an absolute value graph because it's like the V, but it's scooched over to. So then the way you read it is like this equation would be y equals apps, and then it moved left or right. So it's the stuff's got to be inside the brackets. So it's going to be left 2. So it's opposite of what I think. So plus 2. But then when you write it in the curly thing, you're not going to put like y equals because it's like already out, you know? So all you're going to write then is the absolute value of x plus 2 with the bars. And then over, you're going to write like when is it x? Absolute value of x plus 2. So you're only doing that graph until you hit 0. So you have to like think about that as an inequality. So it has a value at 0. There's not like open dots or whatever. So this is when x is all less than or equal to 0. Okay. So everything to the left of 0, aka when x is negative, right? And then you're going to do the same thing. And then do this line. So like maybe just don't even look at the piecewise part of it. Just be like, oh, it's horizontal. That's y equals 2. But you're not going to write like y equals 2 in the thing. You already have the y. So you're just going to write the number 2. And that's everything past 0. Now you could, if it's like continuous, like it doesn't have open dots or whatever, it's fine. Just one of these has to have the bar. I usually always put it on the first one, but it's technically fine if you had x less than 0 and x greater than or equal to 0. If you have the equal to on both, I don't think they'll freak out at you, but it's not technically right. They get like kind of crazy with math sometimes. So just have it to one of them. Okay. Do you guys remember this kind of? Maybe? Because now we're juicing it up. Like now we're getting sass. Okay. So let's change it to f of x because now we're in fancy. Now we're being fancier. So let's do f of x. It's the same thing as like a y, right? So you're going to have a big curly bracket. And I can't get away with combining those. What am I going to have? 4 equations? Woohoo! Okay. So I've got a line. I like lines. How good are you at this stuff? I don't know how much you didn't. Again, like pre-calc has changed a little, so just kind of bear with me with some of the stuff. But like, here you got an x-intercept of -4. I don't know why that 2 is positive. That's supposed to be -2. But -4, and then the slope is 1. Do you see that? So if you were going to continue the graph, your y-intercept would be at 4. I think this is y equals 1x plus 4, right? The slope of 1, intercept is -4, so then that means its y-intercept is +4. If you were to keep going, rise and run style, if that helps. So that's x plus 4, but you're only dealing with that graph -2 that way. So I know it's going to be x and something with -2. So then you just have to decide like less than, greater than, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go, since it's all the negatives, it's going to be less than or equal to for that one. Okay. Next is, I'll do green. How about? Got to keep the rainbow up, So we got good old horizontal, making another appearance here. So that's 2. Because it's just horizontal, y equals 2, right? So then that is just like an in-betweener. So that's an in-betweener between -2 and 0, x 0, come on. And then x is in the middle. So you're going to write it as like a compound inequality. Oh, there's a 0. Why did it disappear? Okay, anyway. So you're going to, because I already have the equal to sign on the -2, I'm just going to do a less than on the -2 on the next line. And then I'm going to do less than or equal to on the 0. Okay. Now this next one might make you cry. We'll see. So, because we've got a little circle action, radius 2. Remember standard form of a circle. Yeah, you just it just comes back to you. Okay? You just remember it. Okay? It's really hard. You know what I mean? So never forget anything. So remember, this is the circle equation. Remember this? You did H and K's, I think, right? Does that sound familiar? H and K's. It doesn't matter. There's no rhyme or reason, I feel like, with some of these variable choices they pick. R makes sense. Radius. Okay, so, all right, so the H and the K, the center is the HK, remember? So the center is 0, my favorite number of all time. So I'm going to just do a little of this. And then my radius is 2, so squared is 4. And then you're going to do a little alge action to solve for y. Because think about all the equations we wrote. They're all like y equals, y equals, y equals. That's what you have to do for this. So you're going to do a little algebra. Okay. You technically get the plus or minus, but I only have the top part of the circle. Like it's my y values are only positive, because think about it. Like 1, get a positive number. 2, I'll get 0, but like 1.5, positive number. 0.5 positive number, always positive. So technically there's that plus or minus on there, but I'm going to just write the plus. Hopefully no one's dizzy. Okay. So that's like quote unquote circle. And you look at that and you're like, oh, circle. Okay. So then where is the circle? That's going on between 0 and 2. So I know it's going to be 0 and 2. X has to be in the middle. And I already did the equal thing with the 0 on above it. So that's going to be normal less than. And then this guy less than or equal to. Okay. Are we alive? You might cry a little. It's okay. All right, and then last but not least, oh, what a good liner. Good old line, which is nice. So that one is going on 2 on. So what is that? Slope of 1. And that's going to eventually hit 2. Okay. And that's from 2 on. So 2 and X. X has to be greater than 2. All the big X's. Why did I write? I don't know. Does that bother you? Sorry. I like when the X is first. That's just me being a little crazy. Sorry, 0, 0, because it's at the origin. That's the center. No, the H and K is like the standard circle, the formula for a circle. So the H and the K is the center of the circle. I have another one on here where it's not the center, which is why I put it on there, because that one always freaks people out, for sure. Okay, look at this guy. Let's call this guy G of X. Okay. Woo! Oh, you guys are still using death mistake. That's so nice. Okay. So, we got... I'm trying. Is it going to appear? No? Okay. So, we got an absolute value, and it's all weird. For crying out loud, can't they be normal? You know what I mean? Okay. So, it's absolute value. It looks like the slope's still 1. You know what I mean? Because this is kind of like... We're going to assume this is halfway. Because that looks like slope of 1. Yeah, so it's a slope of 1. That's good. So then I got my bar and I got X. And it got scooched over, right? So it's got scooching around. So it scooched left. So left means plus. And it's scooched a half. Why are we doing halves, right? Okay. And then it's got to go up a half. And that's it, right? Yeah, because it's not like flipped or anything. That's it, you guys, whatever. All right, so what is that happening? That's doing that graph at 0. 0 and negs. 0 negs, so X less than or equal to 0. Okay. Now, look at this part. Ew. Open dot. Ooh, we're getting a little sassy on this one. Okay. So we got a line. So X slope. Wait, the slope's bigger. 2X, hey? Rise runner minus 2. Okay. Yeah, but then that little guy's messing me up. So it was like, well, it could be absolute value, but it's like got that little dinker in the middle, so you can't. That's the word for it. Okay. So what is that happening? Between 0 and 1? But wait, the -2 has the open the open dot. So we can't have that. That's got to be less than. And then this one, I'll keep it equal. All right, this is where we all cry, is this guy. Okay, so this is kind of sad. But you can do it. Yeah, we're not crying. Just a little. Okay, so center. What even is that? 3/2, 0? Gross. 1.5. I don't like decimals though, so we're gonna do the three haver. Okay, so now we gotta do some finagling. Oh no. This is okay. Wait, it's x minus h, right? X minus. I'm pretending I don't know. Okay, so then what is it? Y squared, y minus 0 equals radius. Are you kidding me? 1/2. Okay. So we're throwing it. Why does it look like 11? Stop that. Ugh, whatever. Equals 1/2 squared. Now we got to clean that up. This is going to be disgusting. Okay, so algebra. Can we do algebra? A lot of it. I'm going to scooch that x nonsense over. Okay. And then we're going to square root her. Plus or minus. Look at that. Oh my goodness. This is where you show people. You're like, I'm in calculus. Look at this thing. Okay. Look at that. That's so cute. Okay. So it's plus or minus, right? But all my y's are negative. You see that? Because you have the bottom of the circle. You got the bottom of the circle. So negative. No. Okay. Okay, it's happening between 1 and 2. I already have the bar on the 1, so I got to do the normal one, the less than on the 1. The 2, I'll put the bar on. Okay. Is everyone alive still? Okay, now we got this guy. Okay, so that one, that looks like a slope, what, negative 2x? No one did positive, right? Right. Okay. It's decreasing. Okay. And then if I were to keep going, that'd be going to 4. Yeah, because it doubles with every value.
Oh, it's
because at 1 it would be at 2, 0 at 4. And that's when x is greater than 2. Okay? All right. Good job, everyone. Okay. Yeah, I know we got more. These are fast, though. Oh, wait. Did you get it all? Sorry. Did I go too fast? Any questions? Okay. All right. So, like I said, what's really tough about calculus is you cannot forget anything you've ever learned, which is like, okay, thanks, you know. All right. This guy. As a group, okay, pick which graph is A, B, or C. So if you think graph 1 is A, put an A by the graph. Okay? Doesn't matter.
Wait, but this is in the morning, so it's probably over like that's actually good. I took my ticket out of the freezer this morning and left it on the counter. Wait, what's that? Morning was that. I put it in the refrigerator. So I think it's like B is one. Because morning it's still in the freezer, that first little line. Because like what if you get home at noon? Or no, morning would be more time. Wouldn't eight less time? Or does it have to go?
I don't think it should. It should have a flag. No, because
I'm glad I was there. Yeah, it's definitely.
that one's so good.
This would not get that hot that fast when we looked it up.
Because
this one you
literally left that one so long and then put it in the refrigerator.
I did not want to be today.
All right. There we go. Okay. Key. Shh. All right, guys, listen up. The key is for A. Took it out at noon. Okay. So A like froze you because they took it out at noon. So it's still pretty cold. It's just thawing out at noon later on. This is taken out in the morning, and then cook. Oops. Okay. So, do you know what that last graph could be? The house went on fire, sure. And then you just let it sit.
That's why
There you go. Yeah. Cook it right away and then it. Yep. Okay. All right. I made this question when Elena was little, so there we go. But Elena was sleeping in her crib. She woke up. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I have to sketch a graph that represents the height at any given time. Okay. So this is going to make me nervous. So, sleeping in her crib. Okay, so at the beginning, she's sleeping in her crib. Crib, it's probably right there. So we're going to do sleeping in the crib, okay? Then, when she woke up, she stood on her feet. Okay, so it's not like a rise from the dead, okay? It's like a little bit of a curve, okay? A little bit of a curve. She stands up because she's so cute and small. Okay, then she started crying. Oh, she started crying. So she's stalling at that height. She's still standing and crying, okay? So there's a time where she's crying for a little bit, okay? I heard her and took her out of the crib. Okay, and carried her to the living room. So that's a little bit taller, and I'm carrying her to the living room. Okay, carrying to the living room. Put her seated on the floor. Okay, again, and not dropping her. Okay, we're gonna slowly put her on the ground. Okay, in a short amount of time, we're gonna put her on the ground, and she's playing on the ground. She's seated on the ground. Okay. Where am I here? Elena played with her blocks for a little while. Then she decided to stand up again, not rise from the dead. So don't be like, you know. She's, you know, a little curve action. Oop, not as big as her quid, but that's okay. Okay. She's standing and she's walking in the kitchen. Do, 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 do. Mr. Arden picked her up. Again, slowly picked her up. Okay, and held her up. And playfully, this is the best part, throws her in the air 3 times. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. That's cute. And then brings her into the living room. Okay. So, 6 minutes, that all happened, you know? Key for this, okay, is it needs to be curvy when you're dealing with a real life scenario. Okay, guys, listen up. It's a real life scenario, so it's got to be curvy. I am not 6 feet, so it needs to make sure that my height and her height when I'm holding her is below 6. Those are little things to be looking for. And then these constant to mark like time passing. Okay, so time passing when her height stays the same. You have to make sure it looks horizontal. Okay, so that is it.